Travis Wayne Goodsell. I get to stay up late again with late breaking news from 2 hours ago, as I finally got around to it. About another church lawsuit concerning tithing. James Huntsman and his appeal is still fighting its way through. James Huntsman was suing because his $5 million was used on the City Creek Mall instead of for charitable purposes, and called it a donation. These other three guys are banding together. Two of them are from Utah. One of them is from out of state, who are suing because the church is using tithing to invest the money rather than use it for charitable purposes. And if for some reason you've been living under a rock and you have no clue tithing is not a donation, it's priestcraft. But the United States allows for priestcraft. You can be a religion and profit off of the religion. You just have to let the IRS know about it, and you can be tax exempt as a religion, filling out the 501c3, but you are required to follow the law in regards to being a 501c3. And that's why the whistleblower of Ensign Peak Advisors had whistleblown on them because they were not following the 501c3 rules for Ensign Peak Advisors. Which means if they're not doing it for Ensign Peak Advisors, they're not doing it for tithing. And they're not doing it for fast offerings, and they're not doing it for the Christmas vending machines, and they're not doing it for LDS charities, and they're not doing it for philanthropies, and they're not doing it for any other source of income. But the whistleblower only worked for Ensign Peak Advisors. And so where are the Mormons who are whistleblowing on the church for their crimes? If you're trying to justify it, saying that Jesus is okay with committing crimes as long as it's the church committing the crimes, you've got some seriously twisted mental thinking going on in your head. Dear God. And so there was not too much more on that. It was just a 40-second thing. Three guys, two of them from Utah, and it was over the investment of tithing in Ensign Peak Advisors, which could have more weight, but if they call it a donation, dear God. But no, I'm still not hearing anybody use Section 119 against the church. Just me. But it was only me, and so I didn't have legal help to counteract the church's threats of the judges to dismiss any case that comes their way. But Section 119, this is a forged document. This was not by Joseph Smith. And Mormons are pissed that I exposed this because it's here during the coup, 1838. That's one of the many reasons why you know this is a forged document. The main one being that it violates the Book of Mormon. Because the surplus property is to be given to the bishop, who is the money collector for a criminal organization. And you'd have to watch The Sopranos to know who these bishops are representing in the criminal organization structure, who go around to the different companies for the protection payment every month. Fire insurance from the day that you'll burn as an oven. Anytime now. This is the bicentennial year that Joseph Smith was warning us about, as Armageddon has begun. And Doctors Without Borders also need to be added to the list of terrorists who are against Israel, as they finally are giving up and fleeing, giving aid and comfort to the Palestinians who purposely are acting as martyrs to blame Israel for. It's like nobody's ever read their Bible. And so, yeah, the bishops are the ones who go around and saying, we're going to break your kneecaps if you don't pay us up in full. So Mormons, they go to the bishop. It used to have tithing settlement. Nelson renamed it. I don't care what new name it was given. It's still tithing settlement, where you go and tell the bishop every year, I'm a full tithe payer. If you're not a full tithe payer, he then says, let me see your temple recommend. No more temple trips for you to follow the covenant path of polygamy and sacrifice for the day that you'll burn as an oven. Except that you still have to sacrifice even if you leave the church. They make sure you pay. And so that's the bishop's role in this whole criminal organization. Which nobody's suing them about that, just me, and I was all by myself with no lawyer. And then he says, the surplus property, which he calls the beginning of tithing, in verse 3, he says is for the building of temples, which no longer is for the building of temples, because they created a temple fund. For the laying of the foundation of Zion. Here we go. And so, yes, laying the foundation of Zion, it's not necessarily talking about a groundbreaking ceremony. It's overthrowing the government to restore Zion. So I have to keep bringing this out. I had retired. And by popular demand, I had to come out of retirement because Armageddon then began. And so that's what it means. It means getting their kingdom back. And so, yes, the temple in Russia, where is that temple? Where was the groundbreaking? The money was used instead for Ukraine. Yeah, Gog and Magog, Ezekiel 38. And then, boom, remember all the Muslims doing business with the church? In government and religion? Yeah. Armageddon against Israel. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints did their part, as part of the secret combination, the Council for National Policy, to help bring about the end of the world and get their kingdom back. Although I don't think anybody else knows that the church wants their kingdom back. I think that these secret combination people are using the church for their end goal, and everybody's got their own secret agenda within the secret combination. But apparently Putin and China don't seem to care that the church is using them for their own goals. But Sean Reyes, compromised as a Utah prosecuting attorney general, he's coming up. And for the priesthood, by definition, priestcraft. And for the added debts above and beyond the priesthood amount, for the presidency. And so despite getting paid for being a priesthood holder, if it's not enough money, the presidency can spend more and then just charge it to the church members. An unlimited credit card. And then after that, then is what we normally call tithing, which is 1/10 of our interest annually. But since many Mormons don't own their own business, they don't have interest. And so the church came out and said, okay, yeah, you slaves, you too have to pay tithing. Any source of income you get, we get 10%, or we break your kneecaps. So it puts a whole new light on the deacons who would go around and collect the tithing envelopes, doesn't it? I want my $2. $2. I gotta write that down. I don't want to forget that one. In the description below. Which unfortunately YouTube no longer shows you what the descriptions are or the links are. I guess it was a short-lived thing that they were doing, and apparently don't want to do it anymore. And so, yeah, that's the tithing scandal. This is a criminal operation, and nobody seems to know but me. And, yeah, here's the Utah Attorney General under fire, being exposed for the tickets to the big soccer game earlier this year, not registering as a foreign agent. And it just happens to be a nation that is involved in sex trafficking. As he also got compromised by being associated with Tim Ballard, which Tim Ballard, yeah, he's a bit of a creepy guy the more I get to know about him, but still, the Mormon women are targeting him because he exposed that M. Russell Ballard is not competent to be the acting president of the Quorum of the 12. And so the church is destroying him, as is their pattern. They did it to me. And then we have, again, the government of Utah is victim blaming us, the citizens, for polluting the air. They blamed us for the drought. They punished us for the drought. And they do it for this too. They blame us for polluting the air. They punish us for polluting the air. Ain't no difference. So, yeah, tomorrow morning I'll put this up. $2. I completely spaced the Bears Ears article. Went right to the pollution. The reason why Sean Reyes is in the news again is to try to distract away from his controversies. He's trying to overturn the Bears Ears Grand Staircase Escalante expansion of national parks that Biden overturned from when Trump, doing a favor for Russia though, got the state of Utah to push for it. And then the scandal of the drilling or mining for uranium came up, and Governor Herbert had to shut it all down because he got caught in a scandal connecting them to Russia, for which the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints then fired Governor Herbert and put Governor Cox in. Didn't know that, did you? Especially after his botching of COVID. And so they'd had enough of Herbert. He wasn't doing the job that the church wanted him to do. And so now Sean Reyes is doing the job now, as he's trying to do it through suing TikTok. Because I can see Sean Reyes, if we were back in the 70s and 80s, he'd be suing the TV for being TV, calling it a danger to children, and music, suing music as a danger to children, suing video games, along with others that were suing video games as a danger for children. But yeah, as the video I uploaded last night indicated, is that social media has not been performing for the church as the church wanted it to. And so, yeah, they're lashing out against social media, calling it porn and addictive to children to punish them for not aiding and abetting the church in its terrorist pursuit to restore the kingdom of Deseret. And so, yeah, that's what the government of Utah does. Whenever the prosecuting attorney, the attorney general, does something, it's for the church. Whenever any senator in Congress, Senator Mike Lee, Romney, whenever they do something, it's for the church. Hatch, dead guy now, did stuff for the church. And so the governor, likewise, has to do stuff for the church. The legislature must serve the church. That's how they got the marijuana thing scrambled up. It's because the church tried to deceive we the people voting on it by faking a study that showed that medical marijuana is harmful to kids. And everybody saw right through that and voted overwhelmingly to have medical marijuana because there are too many Utahns who are physically damaged because of the abuse of the church and the pollution that is going on. And so there are people who need medical marijuana for the specific problems that they have. And so the church, pissed with Utahns, sentenced them to die during Armageddon, as well as forced the legislature to put a hold on it and revise it. And the best they could come up with, well, there's these gummies that little children might come in to the store and with a fake ID to get gummies. A fake doctor's note. And so, yeah, anything to hesitate, cause delays, cause problems, and if possible, overthrow it and destroy it. Dear God. So, that's the Bears Ears scandal. You gotta pay attention to all the news. And that's what I've been doing all these years, guys. That's why I do these news segments and church news segments, is I'm putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. I see the big picture. So when I let you know about something, I'm obviously not going to be able to rehash all these years of information that the church has been setting all this up for. So, alright, bedtime. $2.